Hi guys, it's Mandy and I'm back with another video. For this video, I wanted to tackle a common problem that we see with a lot of gamers who are, adults now. And I know my demographic. Most of y'all are adults and are interested in gaming. So for today's video, I want to do a list of all the short RPGs that you could play while doing adult stuff. Alright, let me stop wasting your time and just jump right into the games. On to number 1. And the first one is Super Mario RPG, running you around 12 hours. This is specifically talking about the Switch version, not the original version. Not only is this game enjoyable, but it's also pretty short by many RPG standards, clocking in at about 10 to 12 hours, which is honestly the shortest one on this list. I mean, Mario is short, but the game is short too, so there's that. You control Mario, Bowser, Peach, and a new cast of characters that are original to this game. What initially starts off as a journey of you rescuing Princess Peach turns into this grand adventure to save the whole of the Mushroom Kingdom. I love this game for so many reasons, not only because it's short, but it's also very funny and quirky and charming as well. I love the humor in this game, and with the new Switch version, it has enhanced graphics, so the game looks more better than ever. And not only is this game really short, but you get a lot of bang for your buck because there's a lot of content. There's never points where you have to grind, so there really isn't a grind fest, and I really appreciate it for that, because a lot of RPGs nowadays you have to grind and level up and all that stuff, but with Mario RPG you're good to go, just as long as you're near the level as the monsters. Now there is side quests, but it's kind of weird how they do it in Mario RPG. This is the one thing that I criticize it for, and that is the lack of organization when it comes to side quests. It can become very obtuse on what you have to do. There's also mini games, but it doesn't fall into the trap of having fishing, crafting, or collecting things like other RPGs. So if you're looking for a short, funny adventure with Mario, then Super Mario RPG is right up your alley, and I've talked about this game a lot on my channel, but needless to say, this one is a very short, fun experience that I've seen a lot of people, even not RPG gamers, really enjoy. The next game on this list is Atelier Marie. So happy I get to talk about another Atelier game, woo! I found that Atelier Marie is perfect for this list video. Now, if you guys don't know, Atelier Marie is actually the start of the Atelier series, and the one we have now is a remake of that original game, but the new one adds all new graphics, remade from the ground up, new quality of life features to make the game more enjoyable for new fans and old fans in the series. Now, if you guys don't know, the earlier Atelier games do have a time mechanic to them, but in Atelier Marie Remake, they do give you an option to play as the regular Atelier Marie with the time mechanic, or Atelier Marie with a very extended time mechanic. Now, overall, this game will run you about 10 to 15 hours. There was a time where I completed a playthrough in one day. It was a weird experience. Now, it was like my third playthrough, so I already knew what to do. Now, this game revolves around Marie, and she is a student at university trying to graduate. But see here, Marie is very behind, and she seems not to do good in school, so her teacher was like, I'm gonna open you an Atelier shop, and if you can maintain the shop for 5 years, you graduate. And Marie is like, slay queen, I'll take that. And that is basically the whole synopsis of the story. It's a very grounded RPG. Now, this game has multiple endings, so depending on which way you go by it, you will get a different ending. And like I said before, this game does have a time limit, but there's an option to turn it off, though you might not get the true ending if you play it through with the no time limit. But even though this game has a time limit, it is really easy to just do your task and not really pay attention to it. And other things take time too, like gathering items, speaking to characters, going to different towns and stuff like that. All that takes time, but it's honestly a very relaxing game, and the gameplay loop is so addicting. So this game is perfect when it comes to shorter games. It keeps your interest, it makes you want to play more, and it makes you want to replay it for the multiple endings, and it's just an overall great adventure trying to get Marie to graduate. It's nothing big or chaotic or beating a god. It's just trying to help Marie because she's honestly a great character and you want to see her succeed. Alrighty, next on this list is Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion. This one is about 22 hours, and this game, man, is some emotional damage. I love Zack. He is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters now. He is the best. He is unhinged, especially when Genesis is out here trying to tell him poems and stuff. He's like, shut up. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. Zack is the bro, and I love him. Now, Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. And you have Zack and Jill, Genesis, and Sephiroth all doing their job as soldiers. But then, you know, drama ensues, and Sephiroth being Sephiroth, we all know what he's doing. I know a lot of people really don't like this prequel because it adds more stuff to an already bloated game, but I found that the prequel was somewhat necessary, especially getting to know characters like Zack, early Aerith, and her motivations, and the start of Sephiroth's descent into madness. It was actually pretty nice to see Sephiroth when he wasn't evil and trying to kill everybody. He was a pretty good friend. Awkward, but a pretty good friend. And in Crisis Core, you get to know more about the world, the inner politics when it comes to Shinra, and how bad the scientists are. Like, every scientist in Final Fantasy VII is crazy. Reunion is a remaster of the original Crisis Core for the PSP. So this game runs on the notion that you're going to be playing this game on the go. So that's kind of why the game is very short. Now, the style of gameplay and the gameplay loop is what contributes to its short runtime. Like I said, it was made for a portable experience, so they couldn't really keep it long. But the gameplay is very addicting. But what makes this game really different is the little slot machine on the side. It's called the DMW. It stands for something important to the story, but essentially, if you get a character 3 times in a row, they give you their special skills to use in battle, and it also gives you the ability to use summons, which is pretty cool. I'm not really that into the whole luck-based thing, but I got pretty lucky in pretty important parts, so I can't complain. And another thing that adds to why it's so short, they kind of eliminate your ability to travel between places. You mostly just teleport to these places, and you're given a little area where monsters could attack you, and it's understandable because this was made for the PSP. It didn't really have the power for you to explore different places, nor did you want to because it'll probably look ugly. And what makes this game, again, so addicting with the gameplay loop is the mission system. So apparently, to get the missions, all you have to do is stand in a save file, and there's a list of them that you could take on at any time while you're on that save file, which is just mind-blowing because if you're gonna encounter a boss, which is really difficult, you could just go to the save file and go to your missions right then and there. You don't have to go back, you don't have to go to a different menu, you just go to your missions, and it's very convenient and handy. And it's funny because most of the stuff that make it a short RPG is because of the graphics limitations of the PSP, but it just works so well. So I really recommend this game if you're into Final Fantasy VII, but don't write this off as a weird prequel thing that doesn't matter. It does matter, especially in the remake. It really does matter. So please go experience the awesome story of Zack Fair and his companions. Next game on the list is Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. And no, this is not cheating because Super Mario RPG and Superstar Saga are 2 different series. This game will run you about 20 hours tops. As for the story, it's way more in-depth than Super Mario RPG, but basically Mario and Luigi go to this neighboring kingdom called Bean Island, and like Mario RPG, there's a lot of good dialogue sprinkled in with that humor that we all know and love. And the gameplay itself is super addicting. It's a turn-based RPG, but with a lot of cool attacks, including bro attacks for Mario and Luigi. Needless to say, it's a very fun game. I feel like it tells a story very nicely, where it doesn't feel like padding or anything like that. The game just focuses on the story between Mario and Luigi. So for sure RPGs, I highly recommend Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Next we have The World Ends With You. This one will run you about 26 hours. As for the story, you play as Neku, who just shows up into this weird parallel dimension, and he has to figure out what the heck is going on, but it's later revealed that he's dead and that he has to fight for the right to live again. On his way, he meets characters that are friends and foe alike, and you really get sucked into the plot of the story. For a short RPG, the characters are really well developed, where you really like them towards the end or you really hate them. Also, the art style is really cool and the music is just top tier, fantastic. Now this game is originally for the DS, that's why it translates well to a shorter RPG. The Switch version is not the best, not gonna lie, but it's probably the only way you could actually play the game nowadays. But as for the gameplay, it's very fast paced and satisfying. You get these different little pins that you could combine them to get different attacks, like the fire pin could do fire moves, the wind pin can do wind moves, you know, etc. As you adventure more into the game, you will discover stronger and better pins. So if you want a nice shorter RPG from Square Enix with fantastic gameplay, music, graphics, and characters, The World Ends With You is right up your alley. Next on this list is Chrono Trigger. Woo! Yes, Chrono Trigger is actually a very short RPG that clocks in at around 26 hours. A little bit more if you want to explore everything, but I did the true ending and it didn't really take me that long. The only main reason I was taking a bit longer was because it was a stream game. Now, most of you might know Chrono Trigger. It is a masterpiece of an RPG, and I could agree to that. There are multiple endings that you could get, and there's a new game plus, which makes the multiple endings better and easier. I'm sure you all have heard about this game, but let me tell you a bit about it. Story-wise, Chrono Trigger is about time travel. So basically, you have to save the whole world from this porcupine-looking final boss, and the only way you could accomplish that is by going through different time periods and setting things up in motion, where you get to fight this mega boss and defeat him. Yes, I do know that is a very simplified version of the story, and that's for a reason. Number one, this is not a review. Number two, I'm kind of working on a review, and I will be here all day if I were to talk about everything in the story. Needless to say, it's a classic hero saves the world kind of vibe with time travel included. Now, I really like the time travel in Chrono Trigger. It was very simplistic. It wasn't overly complicated. It just got to the point, and I really appreciated it for that, because there's a lot of stories where they get time traveling really bad. Now, as for the gameplay, it's a very traditional turn-based RPG mechanic, but you have different attacks or techs, which is just like your magic spells and all that jazz, and each character has their own unique abilities. I highly recommend Chrono Trigger if you haven't played it. It is really fun, and compared to its other RPG brethren, it is very short. Now on to the last one, and that is Undertale. Undertale is an indie darling made by one madman, Toby Fox. This dude made the whole game himself. So this game is widely known, so I don't really feel like going through the synopsis because everybody knows, but basically you're a human child trying to navigate the monster underworld to get back to your human world. But beneath all that, it's a meta game criticizing the players, so under all that facade, it's more than that. It speaks to the player specifically, not the character, the player, and it makes you think on what is it that you're doing. Is it right? Is it wrong? Should you spare monsters or should you just slay them like you do in every other game? What is the impact of saving and loading? And what would it look like to the actual characters of the game and the horrors that they might witness? The story helps facilitate the adventure, but this game is way more than that. The gameplay itself is very fun, and there's this weird unique mechanic where you get to spare your enemies. Now, sparing them is not just pressing the button and you run away. You have to really think of the enemy. What do they like? Or you could just go scorch earth and kill them all, or you could do a mixture of both. That is the thing that makes Undertale so fantastic, is that there are 3 different play routes depending how you play. If you spare everybody, you're on the pacifist route. If you're 50-50, then you're on the normal route. Or if you become the embodiment of the devil, then you get the bad route. It's a very fun RPG, and I love the aesthetic and art style of it all. The game was revolutionary at its time. It has such a basic design, but it fits with the world so much better. The way that Undertale is made has so much passion and love, and even though it's not a AAA blockbuster, the way that Undertale is made with a lot of love. But that being said, because it was made by one person, the game is not that long, and you can enjoy it multiple times on different routes. And after that, you should go hit up Deltarune. That one's really good as well. So that is it for my list of shorter RPGs. I hope this helps somebody. If you have any recommendations for shorter RPGs, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I would appreciate it. You can reach me in my socials in the description down below. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and as always, play a good game. Peace.